Admiral Dax Mercer stood at the observation deck of the UES Harbinger, gazing at the swirling cosmic nebula before him. The massive exploration vessel had ventured farther into the Andromeda Galaxy than any human ship before it. 40 years since first contact, and humanity had spread across the stars with remarkable speed. "Admiral," came the voice of Lieutenant Vex from behind him. "We've detected something unusual in Sector 7. The energy signatures don't match anything in our database." Mercer turned, his weathered face set in concentration. "Show me." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a massive structure floating in the darkness of space. Unlike the organic-looking vessels of the Thalassy Alliance or the crystalline architecture of the Meridian Collective, this structure was brutally geometric, all hard angles and impossible symmetry. "It's ancient," Vex said, adjusting her scanning equipment. "Carbon dating suggests it's been here for at least 12 million years." Any response to our hails? "None, sir. But there's something else." She hesitated. "The structure is emitting a signal. It's aimed directly at Earth." Mercer's expression darkened. "How long has it been transmitting?" "According to our analysis, continuously for the past several million years." Captain Orlov joined them, his cybernetic eye whirring softly as it focused on the display. "There's more, sir. The signal contains embedded code. Our AI is still deciphering it, but preliminary analysis suggests it's written in a proto-language that shares structural similarities with human DNA." Mercer's blood ran cold. "You're saying this alien structure has been broadcasting a signal to Earth that somehow connects to human genetic code?" "For millions of years, yes, sir," Orlov replied. "And we detected an access port. We could send a team to investigate." Mercer considered his options. The First Contact Treaty explicitly prohibited unauthorized boarding of alien structures, but with no signs of current habitation and a direct connection to Earth, he couldn't ignore this. "Assemble a team," he ordered. "I want our best synorchiologists and cryptographers, and I'm coming with you." Hours later, suited in advanced exploration gear, Mercer led a team of 6 specialists through the airlock and into the ancient structure. The interior was a maze of corridors that seemed to defy conventional geometry, with paths that appeared straight but somehow curved back on themselves. Dr. Lyon, the expedition's synorchiologist, ran her scanner over the walls. "These surfaces are composed of an unknown alloy, and there are inscriptions everywhere, pictographs unlike anything I've seen before." They reached a vast central chamber where a pulsing blue light emanated from a crystalline column. Around it, strange mechanisms hummed with energy that had persisted for millions of years. "This is the source of the transmission," said Kovo, their lead cryptographer. He approached the column cautiously, his specialized equipment scanning the patterns of light. "It's a quantum data repository. The information density is impossible." As Kovo connected his interface to the alien technology, the blue light suddenly intensified. The entire chamber shuddered. "What did you do?" Mercer demanded. "Nothing," Kovo protested. "It's responding to our presence. I think it was waiting for us." The crystalline column projected a 3-dimensional image above them, a perfect rendering of Earth. Then, to their horror, the image began to change. Continents shifted, oceans rose, and beneath the surface, something massive stirred. "By the stars," whispered Dr. Lyon. "It's not a planet at all." The image zoomed out, revealing Earth as merely one component in an impossibly vast mechanism. "Admiral," Kovo said, his voice shaking. "The signal. I decoded part of it. It's a countdown." "To what?" Mercer asked, though he already feared the answer. "To Earth's activation." The return journey to Earth was tense with urgency. Admiral Mercer had ordered maximum speed, consequences be damned. The Harbinger's engines strained against the laws of physics, pushing the experimental quantum drive beyond safety parameters. In the ship's secure conference room, Dr. Lyon projected the translated data from the alien structure. "We're calling them the architects," she explained to the assembled officers. "From what we've deciphered, they were a Type II civilization that existed billions of years ago." "And they built Earth?" asked Captain Orlov, skepticism evident in his voice. "Not exactly," Lyon replied. "They repurposed it. The data suggests Earth was originally just another rocky planet. The architects seeded it with specific compounds and engineered primitive organisms designed to transform the planet over billions of years. Kovo stepped forward, his eyes haunted by what he'd learned. Earth isn't just our home. It's a weapon, a doomsday device created by the architects to combat something they called the Void. The entire evolution of life on Earth, including humanity, was engineered as part of this process. A stunned silence fell over the room. The carbon-based life forms thus were designed to produce and concentrate specific elements through our civilization's development. Lion continued. Our industrial revolution, our burning of fossil fuels, our nuclear experiments, all of it was anticipated and designed to trigger specific changes in Earth's core composition. Lieutenant Vex, who had been quietly analyzing data in the corner, spoke up. The timing tracks. Major technological leaps in human history coincide with significant changes in Earth's magnetic field. It's as if we were being guided. Guided toward what? Mercer demanded. Activation, Kovo said grimly. The countdown we detected isn't just figurative. According to our calculations, Earth will reach its activation state in less than 3 months. When that happens, mechanisms buried deep within the planet's core will initiate a transformation process. He displayed a simulation that showed Earth's crust fracturing, the mantle reshaping itself around a mechanical core that had lain dormant for eons. The planet will essentially turn itself inside out, Dr. Lyon explained, converting into what appears to be an immense weapon. The resulting energy discharge would obliterate our solar system and create a directed energy beam capable of crossing intergalactic distances. To strike what target? Orlov asked. We don't know. Kovo admitted. The architect's records refer to the approaching darkness and the consumer of light. Whatever it is, they feared it enough to create thousands of these planetary weapons throughout the universe, each one disguised as a living world. Mercer stood, his decision made. We need to warn Earth immediately. Prepare a quantum transmission with everything we've learned, and set course for the Galactic Council's headquarters. If Earth is truly in danger of transforming, we'll need allies. Sir, Vex interrupted, her face pale. There's something else you should see. She brought up a star chart showing thousands of pinpricks of light scattered across multiple galaxies. What am I looking at? Mercer asked. These are similar signal sources to the one we discovered. Each one is transmitting to a different planet. Some in our galaxy, some beyond. And according to the data we retrieved, her voice faltered. Tell me, Lieutenant, they're all counting down to, not just Earth, thousands of planets across the universe, all scheduled for simultaneous activation. The implications were staggering. Not just Earth, but potentially thousands of inhabited worlds, all unwitting doomsday weapons in an ancient war. The question is, Dr. Lyon said quietly, is the threat the architects built these weapons to fight still out there? And if so, what happens if we try to stop Earth's transformation? The Galactic Council chamber on Nexus Station hummed with tense energy as representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered in emergency session. Admiral Mercer stood at the center of the chamber, having just presented the Harbinger's findings to the assembled delegates. Preposterous, bellowed Ambassador Trock of the Helian Dominion, his scaled skin flushing orange with agitation. You expect us to believe that multiple inhabited worlds are actually ancient weapons, that evolution itself is an engineered process. The evidence is irrefutable, Mercer replied calmly, though exhaustion lined his features. He barely slept since the discovery. Our scientists have confirmed that similar activation signatures are present on at least 12 worlds within Council space, including Helios Prime. This silenced Trock immediately. High Councilors of the Meridian Collective, their crystalline form refracting light in hypnotic patterns, leaned forward. If what you say is true, Admiral Mercer, then we face an impossible choice. Allow these worlds to transform, killing billions, but potentially defending against this ancient threat, or attempt to halt the process and potentially leave ourselves defenseless against whatever comes. There is a third option, came a voice from the shadows. A figure stepped forward, tall, slender, clothed in robes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The council chamber fell silent. It was rare for an observer to speak during proceedings. The architect's technology can be repurposed, the observer continued. Their weapon systems deactivated without sacrificing their defensive capabilities. And how would you know this? Demanded Ambassador Nyx of the Phoebos Federation. Because my people encountered them before, the observer replied. We are the last survivors of what you call the Eridini system. Our world was one of the first to reach activation stage. We managed to prevent full transformation, but lost our planet in the process. We have spent millennia watching for signs of other such weapons. Mercer studied the observer carefully. The reclusive Eridani had joined the galactic community only recently, sharing little about their history. Now the reticence made sense. "Can you help us save Earth?" Mercer asked directly. "Possibly," the observer replied. "But we must act quickly. Once the final activation sequence begins, it cannot be stopped." Within hours, a coalition was formed. The Council's fastest ships were dispatched throughout the galaxy, carrying warnings and detection equipment to identify other potential weapon worlds. The Eridani observer, who introduced himself as Telem, joined a harbinger for the return journey to Earth. In the ship's laboratory, Telem examined the data they'd collected from the architect's structure. "Your world is in the final stages of preparation," he explained to Mercer, Lion, and Kovo. "The presence of intelligent life was intentional. Your technological development has accelerated the concentration of specific elements in Earth's crust and atmosphere. Our entire existence was engineered just to prepare a weapon," Lion asked, visibly disturbed. "Not entirely," Telem replied. "The architects were not monsters. They designed the system to create genuine, sentient life that would evolve naturally within certain parameters. You are real, Dr. Lion. Your civilization is real. But your planet's ultimate purpose was indeed hidden from you. What exactly threatens us?" Mercer demanded. "But were these weapons built to fight?" Telem's expression grew grim. "We call them the Void Harvesters. They exist partly in normal space and partly in dimensions we cannot perceive. They consume stars, planets, even the fabric of space-time itself. The architects fought them to a standstill billions of years ago, driving them back to the intergalactic void. But they knew the Harvesters would return eventually." "And have they?" Kovo asked. Telem turned to the viewport, gazing out at the stars. "Yes, our long-range sensors detected their approach 2 decades ago. They will reach the edge of the Milky Way within 5 years. That's why all these planet weapons are activating now," Mercer realized. "Some automated defense system detected the threat and initiated the countdown." "Precisely," Telem confirmed. "But there is hope. On my world, we found a way to harness the defensive capabilities without triggering full planetary transformation. It requires precise intervention at key nodes within the planet's crust." He displayed a holographic map showing dozens of locations scattered across Earth's surface. "These are the control points. If we can access them simultaneously and modify their activation sequences, we may be able to create a planetary shield without destroying Earth itself." As the Harbinger approached Earth, Admiral Mercer stood on the bridge, watching his homeworld grow larger in the view screen. From space, it looked peaceful, unchanged: blue oceans, twirling cloud patterns, the lights of cities twinkling on the night side. It seemed impossible that beneath that familiar surface lay alien machinery ready to tear the planet apart. "We're being hailed by Earth Defense Command," Lieutenant Vex announced. "They're demanding to know why we've returned ahead of schedule with an unauthorized alien vessel in our convoy." The Eridani ship that accompanied them was unlike any vessel in the Galactic Council's fleet, black as space itself, with strange geometric protrusions that seemed to bend light around them. "Open a channel," Mercer ordered. "Priority Alpha. Authorization Mercer Omega 79. The stern face of Fleet Admiral Reyna appeared on screen. "Jax, what the hell is going on? We've got reports of you commandeering Council resources, making outlandish claims about Earth being some kind of weapon." "Every word is true, Admiral," Mercer interrupted. "I'm transmitting our findings now, along with verification from the Galactic Council and the Eridani Observer Delegation. We need to implement planetary defense protocols immediately." Reyna's expression shifted as she scanned the incoming data. "My God, how much time do we have?" "Less than 6 weeks until irreversible activation begins. We need to coordinate a global response." The next days passed in a blur of emergency summits, scientific conferences, and military briefings. To Mercer's surprise, Earth's governments united with remarkable speed when faced with extinction. Perhaps decades of interstellar diplomacy had prepared humanity for crises of cosmic scale. Working with the Eridanian scientists from across the galaxy, Dr. Lion identified 87 control nodes buried kilometers beneath Earth's surface, strange crystalline structures that had been mistaken for natural formations. Each needed to be accessed and reprogrammed simultaneously. The challenge, Telem explained during a global broadcast, is that any attempt to deactivate the system entirely will trigger immediate transformation. We must instead redirect the energy, creating a defensive shield rather than an offensive weapon. Teams were assembled, miners, scientists, soldiers, and engineers, equipped with specialized drilling equipment designed by the Coalition. Ships from 12 alien civilizations now orbited Earth, providing technological assistance and evacuation capabilities should the worst occur. Kavo led the cryptography team working to decode the final pieces of the architect's programming language. "It's like trying to hack code written by gods," he confessed to Mercer during a rare break. "Every solution spawns new complexities." "Can we do this?" Mercer asked bluntly. Kavo hesitated. "Honestly, I don't know, but we have to try." As the countdown approached its final weeks, disturbing phenomena began to manifest. Seismic activity increased worldwide. Strange lights appeared in the sky. The planet's magnetic field fluctuated wildly, disrupting communications and power grids. And then the dreams began. Billions of people worldwide reporting the same dream. Captain Orlov reported, "They see a vast darkness between the stars, moving toward us, and something else, geometric structures like the one we found but intact, functioning. The architects are trying to communicate," Dellum suggested. "As activation approaches, the dormant systems are connecting with human consciousness. Your species was designed to be the control system. After all, you're saying we can actually interface with this technology?" Mercer asked. "Not everyone," Dellum clarified, "but certain individuals with specific neurological patterns, those most closely aligned with the architect's designs, should be able to form direct connections." Testing revealed that Dr. Lyon was one such individual. When placed near one of the excavated control nodes, she experienced visions of the architect's civilization, glimpses of beings of pure energy and thought, their desperate battle against encroaching darkness, and their plan to see the galaxy with dormant defenses. "They didn't just build weapons," she reported afterward, her voice filled with wonder. "They created life that could evolve, adapt, and eventually take control of the defenses themselves. We weren't just pawns, we were meant to inherit their legacy." With this discovery, a new plan formed. Rather than simply trying to reprogram the nodes, compatible humans would connect directly with them, using the intended interface the architects had built into human DNA itself. The coordination center hummed with tension as the final hours approached. Screens displayed 87 locations around the globe where teams had reached the buried control nodes. Some were beneath ocean floors, others deep in mountain ranges or under scorching deserts. At each site, a carefully selected individual with the right neurological pattern stood ready to interface with the ancient technology. Dr. Lyon would coordinate from the primary node discovered beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, the largest and most powerful of the network. Admiral Mercer stood beside her in the cavernous chamber, surrounded by equipment both human and alien. The node itself rose from the floor like a massive crystal, pulsing with internal light that shifted through colors beyond human perception. "All teams report ready," Lieutenant Beck announced through the communication system. "Planetary alignment will reach optimal position in 17 minutes. Mercer placed a hand on Lyon's shoulder. "You don't have to do this." She gave him a tight smile. "Yes, I do. We all do." She gestured to the crystal. "They built this system to be controlled by beings like us. Not as mere tools, but as inheritors. We're completing what they started." Across the globe, the other interfaces prepared. Among them was Kovo, whose unique mind had proven exceptionally compatible with the architect's systems. They would form the points of a vast network, channeling and redirecting the enormous energies about to be unleashed. 3 minutes to alignment, Vex called out. Tellum approached Mercer as final preparations were made. "There is something you should know, Admiral. The process ahead, it will change those who connect. They will become something different." "Different how?" Mercer demanded. "The interface merges consciousness with the architect's systems. Your people who connect will gain understanding beyond human comprehension. They will see as the architects saw, experience reality as they experienced it. Will they still be themselves?" "Yes and no," Tellum admitted. "They will retain their identities, their memories. But their consciousness will expand. They will become bridges between humanity and what lies beyond." Before Mercer could process this, alarms blared throughout the facility. "Sir," Vex called out, panic in her voice. "We're detecting massive energy spikes worldwide. The system is activating ahead of schedule." The crystal before them flared blindingly bright. The ground began to tremble. It's responding to the void harvesters. Tell him, explained urgently. They must have accelerated their approach. The defensive system senses them coming. Lion looked to Mercer, determination in her eyes. We have to do this now. Around the world, the selected interfaces moved into position. No time for hesitation. No time for second thoughts. As one, they placed their hands on the ancient crystals. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Lion's body went rigid, her eyes widening as impossible knowledge flooded her consciousness. Through the communication system, Mercer heard similar reactions from the other sites, gasps, cries of wonder and terror as human minds connected with technology billions of years beyond their understanding. The earthquakes suddenly stopped. The crystal's light stabilized, shifting to a deep, steady blue that seemed to extend infinitely inward. It's working, Talon whispered. They're taking control. Through their connection, the interfaces began to see the true nature of Earth's defense system. Not just a weapon, but a shield, a beacon, a dimensional anchor point. They saw the approaching void harvesters not as physical entities, but as ruptures in reality itself, places where the fundamental forces of the universe had been corrupted and consumed. And they saw how to redirect the planet's energies to create a barrier the harvesters could not penetrate. Lion's voice emerged, though her lips didn't move. It seemed to come from the crystal itself, echoed by the other interfaces around the world. We understand now. The architects didn't build Earth to destroy. They built it to preserve. The weapon aspect was only one possibility, a last resort. The true purpose was to create a nexus point, a foundation for a galactic shield network. Through their expanded consciousness, the interfaces began the complex process of reconfiguring Earth's hidden systems. Instead of turning the planet inside out, they redirected the enormous energies building within its core, channeling them into a protective field that extended outward through the solar system. Satellite imagery showed a shimmering curtain of energy expanding from Earth in all directions, rippling with patterns of light that defied analysis. Where it passed, stars seemed to shine brighter, as if reality itself was being reinforced against entropy. The other worlds, Lion's voice continued, now joined by the others in perfect harmony. We can see them, feel them. They're responding to our signal. Across the galaxy, the other planets identified as weapons were undergoing similar transformations, not into engines of destruction but into nexus points with a growing shield. The countdown that had seemed to herald doom was instead the synchronization of the greatest defensive network ever created. 3 days after the activation, Admiral Mercer stood in what had once been the Antarctic connection chamber. The crystal node had transformed, expanding throughout the cavern in fractalized patterns that seemed to extend into dimensions beyond normal perception. At its center, where Dr. Lion had stood, now hovered a luminous form, recognizably her, yet fundamentally altered. "Can you still hear me, Kai?" Mercer asked, using Lion's first name for perhaps the first time in their years of service together. The luminous figure turned toward him. When she spoke, her voice resonated with harmonics that made the air vibrate. "I hear you, Dax. All of us do." Through the communication system, similar reports came from around the world. The interfaces had become something new, neither fully human nor truly alien, but bridging both states of being. They maintained their individual identities, while simultaneously sharing a collective consciousness that spanned the planet. "The shield is holding," Lion continued. "The void harvesters have reached the outer edge of our galaxy. We can sense them testing the barrier, searching for weaknesses. And will it hold?" Mercer asked the question troubling billions across Earth and the allied worlds. "Yes," she answered with certainty. "But this is just the beginning. The architect's plan was more comprehensive than we realized. Earth and the other Nexus worlds form the foundation, but the shield must be expanded, strengthened." Kovo's voice joined hers, emanating from the crystal network, though his physical transformation was occurring thousands of miles away. The architects didn't just create a defense system. They created caretakers for that system, us. Humanity's hidden purpose was never to be destroyed, but to ascend to this role. Orbital telescopes captured the first visual confirmation of the void harvesters, vast regions of absolute darkness moving between the stars, devouring light itself. Where they encountered the shield, ripples of energy flared as ancient defenses held firm against the cosmic predators. In emergency session, Earth's unified governments worked with the Galactic Council to coordinate the next phase. The Eridani, having experienced this transformation before, provided crucial guidance. Humanity would not face this transition alone. What happens now? Mercer asked Lion as they watched the harvesters testing the shield. Evolution continues, she replied, not just for the interfaces, but for all humanity. The architects designed human DNA with dormant potentials that are now beginning to express themselves. Over generations, more humans will develop the ability to connect with the network. And those who can't will remain essential, she assured him. The interfaces need anchors to humanity, reminders of what we're protecting. The architects understood this balance. Technology without compassion, defense without purpose, these are meaningless. Around the world, the initial fear gave way to cautious wonder. The interfaces used their expanded consciousness to share visions of what they perceived, the true nature of reality as the architects had understood it, the greater cosmic community beyond even the Galactic Council's knowledge, and humanity's evolving place within it all. 6 months later, Admiral Mercer stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Earth Defense Platform, watching the SHIELD network expand as additional worlds joined the system. The Harbinger, now upgraded with technology derived from the architect's designs, prepared for its next mission, to seek out other dormant Nexus worlds and help them through the awakening process. We were never meant to destroy, Mercer reflected, addressing the holographic projection of Lion that hovered beside him. We were meant to protect. Yes, she agreed. The architects faced extinction fighting the Void Harvesters. Rather than continuing that fight directly, they created something new. Life that could evolve, adapt, and eventually take up their mantle. Not as weapons, but as guardians. And the other worlds? The thousands of planets with their own evolving species. All part of the same design, she explained. Different approaches to the same problem. How to create life capable of inheriting the cosmos. Some focused on physical adaptation, others on technological innovation, still others on psychic potential. Earth's particular path emphasized adaptability and creativity. The hologram gestured toward the stars, where the SHIELD network glimmered across light years of space. The harvesters will not break through, and in time, as more Nexus worlds awaken, we will push them back to the void between galaxies, not through destruction, but by strengthening the fabric of reality itself against their corruption. Mercer smiled, feeling genuine hope for the first time since discovering the architect's structure. So, humanity's hidden purpose wasn't to end, but to begin something greater. Exactly, Lion's projection confirmed. The countdown wasn't to Earth's destruction. It was to humanity's ascension. As if in response, the SHIELD network pulsed with renewed energy. Across the galaxy, other worlds were answering Earth's call. Ancient defenses awakening, dormant systems activating. Humanity had found its place in a cosmic legacy billions of years in the making. The weapon had become a shield. The end had become a beginning. And Earth, once hidden among countless stars, now shone as a beacon of hope against the encroaching void.